Myoho Renge Kyo. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Hi, how are you doing? I hope you're in good health, secure. Let's see, I think we're doing one of those weird words today. I know, it's been a little while. Sorry. I've been totally engrossed in trying to find a way to accurately present the Mahaparinirvana Sutra to you. And I'm finding, so many problems. The translators. Anyway, I'm making progress, but it's almost a word-by-word correction, annotation. I want it to make sense. I want it to be in keeping with the teachings. I want it to represent accurately where Shakyamuni was in his teaching life at the time. And the amount of translators and what's available out there, kind of pathetic. This one I've always had trouble saying. Maybe you are like me. Trichiliocosm. Trichiliocosm. We see it all the time, but saying it's a different story. Anyway, it's a concept found in the cosmology of Mahayana Buddhism and prior, in which the universe is said to be comprised of 3,000 clusters of world systems, each of which consists of 1,000 worlds. Sound familiar? Isn't this what evolves with Tendai or GE as the 3,000 realms? Think about it. Additional information from the invisible sign on the crown of his head came forth a great light which shone everywhere throughout the Trichiliocosm. Right? This is a quote from one of the sutras. There are various interpretations of this term as conceived in the early to middle periods of Shakyamuni's teachings. We're most concerned with his latter Mahayana uses of the term that are quite seldom but refer again to the expanse of time and space and the unfathomably large universe. As large as it can be conceived, the universe is also subject to the same processes of arising, abiding, and dissolution, or extinction, just as all phenomena are. The 84,000 glossary states, 1. The largest universe described in Buddhist cosmology, this term in the Abhidharma cosmology, refers to 1,000 cubed world systems, i.e., 1,000 Trichiliocosms, or 2,000 great thousandfold world realms, which are in turn made up of 1,000 first-order world systems, each with its own Mount Sumeru, continents, sun and moon, etc. Secondly, these worlds are all follow a similar process of coming into being, abiding, disintegration, and annihilation. The doctrine developed by Tendai, GE, and used extensively by Nichiren, of the 3,000 realms in a single thought moment of life. Please also see the 3,000 realms in Volume 1, in this volume. When Shakyamuni invoked this term, speaking as Buddha, he was indicating the depth of understanding and clear observations of the Buddha eye into all aspects of phenomena, sentient and non-sentient, in all possible realms of being, such as when all the Buddhas in the Lotus Sutra extend their tongues broad, long, broad tongues into the Trichiliocosm. The long, broad tongues indicates or symbolizes the spread and influence of the oral teachings throughout the universes, or world systems. It is important to remember that world systems are not only physical concepts of the universe, but very much the mental realms inhabited by the mind, transmigrating throughout the 3,000 realms of thought in each moment of existence. Another thing to catch from this is that as that tongue represents propagation of the teachings, it is the Buddha teachings, right? The one great Buddha vehicle, which also indicates, as G.E. points out, that Buddhahood exists in all the 3,000 Trichiliocosm realms. You see? It all ties together. It's not that there are 10,000 varieties of things to remember. They're all saying the same thing, as I've often said. Shakyamuni was teaching the same thing from day one. It's just that he was teaching to the familiarity, the capacity of the people he was talking to. And as their capacities rose, hopefully, some not, but, everything takes times. Interesting. He developed the same concepts, but either with more profound or depth of understanding, meaning, or new words to represent new ways of thinking about the same thing more profoundly, more broadly, etc. Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Yeah, this is one of the strange things about the Mahaparinibbana Sutra is that the Lotus Sutra was his opus. That was the ultimate teaching of Buddhism. And now he's having to deal with, as he's preparing to die, Siddhartha is, he's having to deal with this assembly of monks that's just as varied as the Lotus Sutra assembly, all crying and worried about him disappearing and not knowing what to do. As a result, all of those monks are of varying capacity and ready to move. In the Lotus, we read about that when he drops the bomb on them and it says, you've been following the false nirvana. You need to understand what complete and perfect teaching is. Several of the monks stepped up, right? Like Shariputra. It took him a while. He didn't quite get it at first, and then it started to dawn on him. But as much as it dawned on him, and he got his prediction of future Buddhahood, right? Many in that assembly were still scratching their heads. Even some, remember at the very start, said, nah, we don't need to know anymore, and walked out, right? Those arhats, 8,000 of them or whatever, some significant number. Well, they're still hanging around, and they're wondering what's going to happen after the Tathagata dies, which it doesn't. But again, one of the fascinating things about the Mahaparinibbana, spoiler alert, is that almost the whole thing is in some way very concerned about making this distinction between the Tathagata potential of the universe or in the universe and the instantiation of that potential as Buddha in your sentient mind. The division in the two is simply not understood. Even in the Lotus Sutra, many of those in the assembly, they weren't getting it. So the Mahaparinibbana, which is a long sutra, spends a lot of time. In some chapters, that's all it's about, nailing that down. And then I'm fighting, some... It's always the case with these authors who want to flex and tell you how much they know about terms of Buddhism and stuff, and it's full of stuff. But it's all from Hinayana and Theravada. And it taints, it misleads. You can see the meaning if you read it from a little further away, that it's so clear. But they interject these weird terms, and that's not what the it's not what it's supposed to say. So yeah, I'm having to clean up a lot of bias and rhetoric, and it's not as easy as usual. Usually the bias is really easy because it's Western. Words like faith and worship and so on. They're easy to pick up on those, right? Because I are one, But from polycanon and from anyway, I'm whining. Sorry. I just want to get you the most clear, unadulterated version. This is quite a piece of work. And as always, I'm learning. As I go through it, I'm going to probably have to reread it a few times. I already have, to really make sure I've got the gist of it, and try to kick out the stuff word salad and stuff. Of course, Shakyamuni's spoken word salad, so trying to make that as clear and Caesar salad as possible. Anyway, you know what I mean. All right, you take care of yourself. Take care of your health, please. Thank you for all your support at all levels. You guys are awesome. Thank you for practicing. Links in the description for other sources, resources, lots of free stuff like the podcast and the documents on threefoldlotus.com, as well as opportunities for support at all levels. Okay, take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one, all right? Bye for now.